Hello everybody, Sarah Frank here, and welcome back. Today, I'm going to do a new interesting video. We're going to be listing all the operators as of Year 5, Season 2 in a tier list. So, yeah, if you know what tier list is, S tier means top, F tier means shit. So, we're going to do them all in order of the operators presented. So, we're going to start off with Ying. Ying... in my opinion, she's a C-tier. She's decent. Her LMG, the Type 95, um, uh, support weapon basically. It's good. High capacity magazine, but her utility is a bit lacking. Not necessarily the Candelas. It's mostly picking between breach charges and I think smokes. I think smokes on her they're decent, but majority of the time you're going to be using smokes or flashes to clear out utility, like Jaeger ADSs or Wamai magnets. And that's really it, to be honest. It's not really that good. I mean, the Candelas are great, and let's be honest, she was overpowered apparently last season. I would disagree because one, you're not going to bring Warden every round. I mean, come on, why would you bring Warden every single round when you could bring a better defender with utility? Right, so we got Blackbeard. He belongs in the same category. As someone who used to main Blackbeard, Blackbeard's more of like a status operator for like teaching you how to hold and peak angles. Basically, that's what his face shield is for. In terms of utility, breach charge, you're not going to bring it that much of the time unless you're like playing consulate and they're in the basement and you want to get hatch. That's about it. But majority of the time, again, you're going to bring flashes just like Ying to clear out utility in the form of Jaeger ADSs and Wamai magnets. It's a recurring theme here, so you'll love to see it. Dark, automatically A tier. A tier, I mean, come on, he's got an ACOG, he's free armor. Perfect for holding long angles, or even if you just want to spawn peek and surprise them. That's basically his role. And he can heal his teammates and himself. So there you go, Doc. It's very self-explanatory. Alibi. Alibi beta. Alibi's M4X Storm is a perfect gun. We don't talk about the other gun, the ACS-12, because it's shit. But she's basically the perfect roamer with a perfect gun. Sure, the damage is like low, a bit like the MPX on Valk, but she's good. And in terms of using her utility, you can basically just put it on windows, make it look like spawn peeking. And if they shoot it, you get a free reveal of what the operators are on attack before they even get into the building. Or you can just meme on people, remove all your skins off your characters, and pretend to be an alibi. It's pretty funny. DKB B tier. I mean, sure. Yeah, basically perfect for rushes. It has DMR, which is okay. I tend to bring the SMG-12 just for the sake of close quarters, and you get to ring all the defenders twice. I mean, this was, like white noise. Operation White Noise was like the most cancerous operation, apart from Chimera, whatever it was, where they introduced Lion and Finker when Lion first came out, was disgusting. So was DKB. But DKB's basically been the same. Perfect utility. But yeah. Thatcher, A tier. My reasoning being he is a must-have operator. All your teammates must have him for the sake of having Thatcher. I mean, we've been seeing a lot of Thatcher bans now, basically just due to the fact that he counters all electronic gadgets. I mean, that's powerful in itself. So yeah, I mean, come on, AR-33 and L-85 are both good ARs, and bring them. They're good. Capital, I don't know. I would have said B, but he's a C tier now. Basically, he couldn't be countered by a Jaeger ADS because it, for some reason, doesn't count as like a projectile. The asphyxiating and, well, incendiary bolts and smoke bolts. But now he's countered by Wamai, so he's problem with him is you can't really get smokes at certain angles. You're mostly just going to use like his smokes and asphyxiating like smoke grenades. There's only a few spots where I can see him decent, which is why he's in C tier, not D tier. I mean, if you look at, let's say you're playing in lockers on border, you could fire an incendiary bolt at the back wall where they tend to hide before you get into sight, because they'll tend to have a player hiding there. If you can't get him out of his position, you can use asphyxiating bolts near the wall, the half wall with the chairs on it, basically, where people can peek over a wall. Mira, come on. B tier material. She's the only operator as of now that has the ability to see behind reinforced walls. I know when you see a few new people using her, they don't know how to, but basically, the best way to use her is a reinforced wall, put a mirror a bit more to the left or the right, and you leave whatever side you put it on. So if you put the mirror more towards the right, you're going to put shotgun holes on the right soft wall. Someone reinforces that wall, you're going to team kill them because they've just ruined your mirror setup. So yeah, but in terms of utility, I mean, the Vector is a good SMG. I mean, sure, it has a low magazine, but the rate of fire is perfect. You're probably going to bring the secondary shotgun, the ITAS, just to make those shotgun holes in the wall. Overall, well-rounded operator. And now we're on Buck. Buck is an A tier. You are going to bring Buck with you. If they are in some sort of if they're on like a basement site or they're on the first floor, you are going to try and take top vertical control depending on the map. I mean, actually thinking about it, I'm moving to B. Let me explain my first point though. But basically, you can put shotgun holes through the floor, and you're gonna open up some angles for your team from above. That's the best way of using him. I mean, he's basically Sledge. But the reason I'm moving down to B tier now, as I've just remembered, they've removed frag grenades off him. So, I mean, sure he's good, but why does he need flashes? Come on, Ubisoft. He was good as he was. Why did you give him to Mav? I don't understand. Glaz is in poo-poo tier. Okay. When they nerf Glaz with the stupid movement thing, where you won't be able to see enemies more clearly. That was awful. Well, actually, I'll move it to E because I'm just gonna reserve this for one operator. I mean, he's pretty useless now. That's why they brought Kali. Come on, think about it. Clash. Right, there's a few issues I have with Clash, and this is why she's at C tier currently. Firstly, I don't know why everyone suddenly thinks you can melee shields because you can melee Clash. Wrong. A lot of people whinge when they bring a Clash, but there's plenty of counters to her. Sure, her MP9, her basically whatever secondary SMG is, the MP9. You can turn around, put the shield on your back, and it can be a funny meme. Yeah, haha. But you're going to be countered if they bring a Nomad or a Sofia, and Sofia is always going to be an important pick for clearing out utility or clearing out operators. Monty, I don't know. I mean, yeah, Monty's Ceeta. I mean, Smoke's good, or bring flashes. Honestly, I don't even remember what they changed about him, but he's good. Extend your shield. You can't be meleeed. It's funny. People try to melee you, so you lower your shield and you hit them. Haha, very funny meme. Yeah, basically. Maestro is a must bring, depending on the site you're bringing. His evil eyes are perfect as bulletproof gadget and camera. Even if you're dead, they're still important as a spotting tool, because they can't be shot out like a regular evil eye. Maverick. Maverick, from my experience, although you're not going to use his gadget a lot, because you're probably going to bring a Thermite, Ace, or a Hibana, Maverick is good in terms of his guns. The DMR is decent. The M4 is perfect. Nomad moves to here in Ceeta. Basically, she can counter Clash if they bring a Clash, or you can alternatively use her to watch to trap your flanks. So you don't need to actually hold your flanks because you've already trapped them. Valk. Let's be real, Valk is another must-bring operator. If you know good cam spots in the game, like you've been playing for a while, you're going to try and put them outside or in certain spots that they won't spot your black eye cams. Frost, Dieter. I mean, although sure I've got black eyes, but let's be real, skins aren't relevant in this list. In terms of Frost, low skilled players won't look for frost traps, but once you get to above level 100, you're going to know that when you vault over something like a shield or a window, you are going to shoot at your feet. It's just common sense for someone at level 100 and above. Twitch. I'd say Twitch is D-tier, personally. Twitch for me, she was good until she's no longer viable with ACOG. You have to bring a holographic sight or some sort of times one sight for the sake of it being easier to aim. The recoil has been buffed. She has a shorter magazine. Her drones can be countered by Mozzie and Mute, which majority of the time they might bring. A majority of the time your drone's going to get shot anyway, so D-tier. In terms of Gridlock, I'm not exactly a fan of her. She seems a bit she's decent, but yeah. Why would you use this operator to watch your flank and trap your rear when you can do it with Nomad? That's my justification. Although her guns are good, but that's about it. Pulse. Ceeta, he's decent. If you are on an objective that's on a third or second floor, or even first floor, and there's a basement, you are going to bring Pulse to try and deny a plant, unless they root you out with the Jackal, hence him not being your A tier. Also, the UMP is garbage, let's be real. It's awful. If Valve wants to why am I saying Valve, right? If Ubisoft wants to buff Pulse and Castle, they need to buff the UMP 45. Either that be they increase the damage or they increase the fire rate. Lion. Beta, why not? I would have said C, but I don't know, just remember, he's awful. I mean, whoever thought about when he first came out, you are evil, honestly. And He's not as bad as he would be if he was still like what he was. He'd be up here. If he was nerfed more, he'd be down here. EE1D charges, they're good, and then you can combine that with like a Jackal or a Decay, and it's a ridiculous meme. But it's not as powerful as it used to be, and thank God for that. Tachanka, F tier, is worthless. Siege, sure, Ubisoft released him at the start of the game, and sure, he's a meme to play, but come on, there's no viability for him in this game. Siege is a game of mobility and fast. It's a fast-paced game. Tachanka is the complete opposite of that. He's free speed. He's slow. Sure, he can take a bit of armor, whatnot, blah blah blah. Not free speed, free armor. He's free armor, and his turret basically makes him stand still, which is idiotic. I'm gonna be honest. Sofia, immediately, A. You're going to bring Sofia to clear out. Actually, let's just put her in S tier. Why not? You're going to use Sofia to clear out obstacles. Siege is now a game where you're going to have to clear out the enemy utility and traps and whatnot. You're going to bring operators with grenades, frag grenades. Sofia basically has 2, and she has stuns. Perfect. You're going to bring her to clear out everything. Come on. Unless there's some operators that are going to counter her, but I'm not moving on to them yet. Kaid. I'd say A tier. Right next to Bandit. Bandit is in the same tier. Basically, deny. You're going to, if they're going to ban Thatcher, you're going to be, you're still going to have these two, one of these two blokes, you're going to have both of them, or even a mute. You're still going to have these two blokes ruining your day. And if you don't bring Maverick, you're screwed. These are your standard set defenders. And you're probably going to bring Bandit more. Probably going to bring Bandit more. Is one of the best guns in the game, the MP7. He's able to electrify walls, and he's a perfect roamer. He's a decent speed to get around the map and get kills, or even watch flanks. But once he's dead and he's gone roaming, you can't trick unless and deny them opening up an exterior wall, let's say, unless you bring this guy. But you're gonna bring him majority of the time, hence him being S tier. But yeah, whatever. Mute, beta. Sure, he's good, but he's not as useful as I'd say he would be. He's basically only useful for denying droning with Mozzie. You can put the mute jammers behind reinforced walls, but they're not going to be as effective as a bandit charge or a kite charge. Plus, you can't trick, and if they don't bring a Thatcher, they're going to bring a Kali, which is pretty funny. Thermite, A tier must bring. If you don't bring Thermite, you're a tool bag. Speaking of which, let's move on to Ace. Sorry, Brexit Boomer, but he's a beta. He's good, but he's not an alternative to Thatcher or Hibana. He needs 2 charges to get Hatch. And if you're opening up a wall, and let's say if you're opening up a wall, sure you can get one little box open, but the best way to counter him is to just throw an impact grenade through the first hole it makes, because that's an immediate trick. And also, every time I play Thatcher and we have someone tricking it, you just can't do it. You're gonna have this guy right here just bandit tricking all your ace charges, and we're stuck outside, so we're gonna have to frag our way to the objective. Jace is good, he has an AK-12, whatnot, hence why he's not in the C tier. But he's not as good as what I'd expect him to be, and he's not an alternative to Thermite, hence him being in beta. Hibana, A tier, actually beta. Right, my main issue with Hibana is, sure, she's slow to deploy a gadget. I'm fine with that. Majority of the time, you're going to bring it for hatches anyway. As it has been pointing out by a lot of the major siege YouTubers, is her magazine's a bit short. 20 rounds isn't exactly a lot. I'd be happy with it being 25 as a decent buff. And the bearing 9 needs a buff. When they buffed secondary SMGs to Oblivion, I still tried to stick with using them because, I mean, why would you bring a pistol when you could bring an automatic, semi-automatic SMG as your secondary? It doesn't make any sense. Rook, A tier. Let's move into the top of A tier. He's basically this guy, but his ability is more passive than active. Ash, I mean, main issue I have with Ash is everyone that plays her is always dead. It's your typical Ash main, rushes into the building, dies, and doesn't use a gadget for anything. It's quite annoying, and majority of the time your teammates are trying to catch up with an Ash just to try and trade her. So yeah, it's fucking annoying. C tier for Ela. Scorpion is a headache to use. I mean, her stuns are good, her mines, but it's not as, I don't know. She's a good roamer, but her utility just doesn't match. Speaking of which, I'll just move this up. Actually, when you think about it, Ash also brings flashes, which are useful for clearing out Jaeger and Jaeger ADSs and Wamai magnets. Yeah, so Ash actually gets one up there. Sledge. Put him right next to Buck, but he's higher than Buck. Frag grenades. Open up the floor, frag grenade, get rid of utility, it's gone. Best way to use him, or you're just opening up a wall when you're going to chuck a frag grenade through it, because that makes sense. Echo. Oh my god, Echo. This fucking weeb is at the top of A. His gun does more damage than the 2 other MP5s in the game. He has an ACOG. He is able to deny plant. He's at the top of A. Sure, he's good, but he's going to get banned anyway unless they bring a Clash or unless they ban Clash and Melusi for some reason. I don't know why people ban Melusi. I'm going to get onto that. Castle right next to Pulse. Yeah, okay. Castle, you're going to use your strike sheets, barricades, mostly to not necessarily stop them from getting into places, is to make them waste their utility. I mean, they're going to bring this guy, the sledge, he's going to automatically destroy that. If they don't have a sledge, they're going to melee it, or they're going to just can't be bothered, impatient, they're going to bring a grenade. You're going to use it to try and stop them from reaching the objective more quickly. So, let's say Oregon, you're going to reinforce top hatch for basement, for laundry. You're going to then put a strike sheet on the doorway into, I don't know, downstairs, into laundry stairs. You're going to then reinforce the wall next to it. You're going to go downstairs, put another strike sheet again. Basically to stop them from funneling through the stairs. If they open up the hatch, you're still going to funnel them through. That's basically his job. Vigil, woo, A tier. Bottom of A tier, currently. A tier, perfect roamer. Sure, you can meme with the boss G, but when it comes to using the actual K1A, good SMG. Technically, it's an AR because it's 5.56, but whatever. You're going to bring him anyway. He can't be droned out. Well, he can be attackers can have a broad idea of where he is, but not necessarily a direct location. Smoke goes in. Beater. As someone who tries to play smoke, I tend to waste his smoke charges a lot, his gas canisters. But really, the best way to use him is waste as much time as possible. Prevent them from planting at the last minute. Cool fact: if you put a reinforced wall and then place it on the floor, it actually toxic gas clips through a reinforced wall. So, border, small office, reinforce the small the left wall for when they come into lockers, basically, and then you can hide behind that, put it down, and it clips through the door into basically you can stop a plant there. Fuse bottom of beta. Only because AK is good. In terms of how people try to use this utility, they use it wrong. Best way to use Fuse's charges is to clear out utility from above. Let's just go down there. You're not going to bring him in an unranked or ranked game. I'm going to be honest. You're only bringing him if you're memeing. Come on. Thinker goes in C. You're not going to bring her AR. Majority of the time you're going to bring her LMG, which is good. It's an active gadget. It's the only problem I have with an active gadget is if someone gets into the building before you and they're downed, you're gonna have to press it. And when you press it anyway, they're probably being interrogated or they've been shot already. It's quite annoying. Jaeger, S tier. I mean, come on, it's Jaeger. Carbine, the 416 carbine is brilliant. You're going to basically just ADS everything, and that allows you. His gadget is pretty. He's more of a passively active operator. You put down his magpies, his magpie ADSs, and they're just gonna get rid of any grenades that fly through. And while we're at it, one my goes in A tier. He's the same as Jaeger. You're probably going to bring the MP5, not necessarily the AUG. I mean, it's a decent gun. Wamai's basically the sidekick to Jaeger. That's my only issue with him, is you're only going to bring a Wamai. He's not an alternative to Jaeger, which is what they designed him to be, but surprise, surprise, every time you bring a Jaeger, you're going to bring a Wamai, just to make the attacker's day worse. Cav goes in A tier. She's going to be banned all the time, or if not, it's a fucking charm to deal with in unranked. Yes. You're interrogated, you're all revealed, and it's disgusting. C tier. Sure, his guns are good, but he's no longer the intel gatherer he used to be when on release. IQ, you belong in C tier. Sure, this can be helpful to find where gadgets are and cams and whatnot if you're blind like me. Doesn't have grenades, which is really what she needs as a buff. Capcan D, he's a memer. I mean, you're probably going to get killed after you're already dead, which happens all the time. Yeah. Jackal, Beta, the C70 is funny and hilarious. So is the other primary SMG, which you can stick an ACOG on, and it's 50 rounds. Pretty funny. And yeah, sniff feet boyos. Good. Warden's good, but he's very situational. Oh yes, knock. Yeah, you belong down here. Basically, I don't like the FMG9 as a primary. I would have preferred it to be some sort of AR, but I mean, she's good. In terms of release, with these two operators, were just, I don't understand why they were brought into the game. But sure, you can evade cameras, but once you start shooting, they already know where you are. In terms of Warden, I would have preferred them bringing him an MP5 and making him free. Oh no, that's stupid. But giving him an MP5 without an ACOG might have been a good alternative primary for Warden, considering the Secret Service actually use P90s. Oh god. Wamai. Amari. See to move him like before Nomad, right? Basically, gets in to the building. She's going to ruin people's days just by surprising them by getting into the building first, and also they buffed her so she doesn't destroy barricades on windows until she's actually in the building, which is quite useful. Carly, beat her. Top of beater. Sure, you're gonna bring Carly as an alternative to Thatcher, but majority of the people using Carly only try to use her to get stupid shots with the bolt action. A sniper rifle, that's about it. But they're not gonna use a gadget. Oh yeah, a lot of people. She's used for clearing out utility guys. You can destroy shields with it. You can also, come on. Yeah, look. If you have a Goyo shield, you can use a Kali charge on it if you're already in the building. If not, you're going to save your Kali charges when you bring your Thermite, Hibana, or Ace. RX. Yeah. Decent operator. Good roamer. Yeah, good set of weapons. Overall, good. I mean, for balancing, he's not a free speed, but he's able to climb hatches. That's why he's in beta, not C. Iana. Let's put top of C tier next to Blackbeard and Ying. Only purpose I've seen her used, you don't really see her in unranked. Basically, every time I've seen her used in like casual, it's basically to scout out for utility of defenders. You're not going to bring the G36. You're probably going to bring the ARX. Although I do prefer the G36. It's a good gun, but you're probably going to bring the ARX anyway for the sake of it being a high damage gun. Oh look, everyone hates this operator. But guess what? She's at the bottom of C tier. No one knows how to fucking counter Melusi. Just as how no one knows how to counter Ace. Come on, guys. Literally. Explosives are the new thing in this game. Every time I've talked about all the operators, it's been about them having an explosive gadget. Well, not exactly, but I see Ubisoft are bringing out more bulletproof gadgets. So the best way to counter it is obviously Sofia. Sledge has frags. Any operator that has frag grenades, you're gonna immediately counter Lucy. Also, I don't know why people don't melee Banshees. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Hail Hydra.